Hi, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Plymouth. I am your host, Derek Brindisi, and Town Manager for the Town of Plymouth. This afternoon, we have Amy Naples, the Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce with us. Hi, Amy.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't know, you haven't been on this, and I've been doing this show with the support of PAC TV since April time period. And so typically we come on, we talk about a lot of different current affairs that are happening in town. We also talk about items that may be of interest to certain folks. And we also do some work around dispelling rumors that are out there too. So I don't think any rumors to dispel today. But I think there's a lot to talk about as far as what's going on with the Chamber of Commerce, right? And I'm sure a lot of folks in town already know who you are and what you do. But I think it would be good just to kind of start this afternoon's conversation with talking about the Chamber and all the work that you guys have been doing.
Sure. So we are the Plymouth Area Chamber of Commerce, and we cover 9 communities on the Lower South Shore. So that spans from Marshfield to Plymouth, out to Carver, Plimpton, Hanson, Halifax. So we cover a great area. We are a regional chamber, so our work really translates to so many different things. We cover all industries as well. But we are a unique chamber and really concentrate on the small businesses, the heart of our community. But that doesn't mean we aren't working on workforce development, economic development, and other various things that are important to businesses and all industries. We definitely want to make sure the businesses are advocated for, that they have a strong voice, and that's something very important to our chamber.
And that's very important to the select board. So I know there are a handful of members who, when they pick up the phone, they call me. Most often than not, they're always talking about what are we doing, what's the town of Plymouth doing to support our businesses, and how can we promote economic development and things of that nature. So one thing I always tell them is that in my role as town manager, my first phone call is to Amy when we think about the small businesses, and whether we get phone calls or my board members get phone calls about how we can connect them to different services that are out there, or connect them to maybe some statewide programs that are taking place. But the other thing that I have learned since I have been here that you do very well is connecting to other organizations like C. Plymouth and like Steve Cole over at their foundation. Can you talk a little bit how your 3 organizations are working together on business development?
Absolutely. So we have definitely our own area of concentration, and we work so closely. I mean, Lee, Stephen, and I work hand in hand every single day. But as you know, Lee Felson is from C. Plymouth, and she markets our region for tourism. Stephen works on economic development initiatives, attracting businesses to the area, and then I specifically work on businesses that are here. It's not to say that I don't work on attracting new businesses. We help with startups, we help with site locations, there's a number of things, but typically our work is helping the small businesses or the local businesses that are already here established, connecting them with all sorts of different organizations. The town has been incredible to our business community, especially over the course of the pandemic and recently. And getting the opportunity to work with you and the current select board has been great. And having that line of communication so that I can call and say, Derek, what's going on with this? Or can you give me a hand? But where's the holdup? I think that's so important. And I think the collaborations among the organizations is so important. And that's why we have a thriving business community.
So as you're talking, I'm trying to connect those dots. So the way I look at it, and I'm going to simplify this, is Stephen and the foundation, they're out there recruiting new businesses to come, right? So once they get here, they land in your lap, you kind of work with them, get them up and running, and then Lee Filson over at C. Plymouth, her job is to kind of drive customers to those businesses through the tourism industry. So I think the 3 of you guys all working together, I think certainly makes a lot of sense. And anything that we can do to help businesses get through the permitting process or anything like that, we're always happy to do that, especially being in the downtown area too. So we want to be a part of that conversation. One thing that I know my board members are very interested in, and I know that there's so many others in town that are very interested in being a part of the community in the downtown area. We don't just want to be a building where you have governmental transactions. We want to be able to support what's going on, which brings me to an event that just happened a few weeks back where the Chamber organizes the annual Halloween event. Can you talk a little bit about that, how that works?
Sure. So it's Halloween on Main. It was started 10 years ago. So this past Halloween, we celebrated our 10th year, which is kind of exciting. We thought it was a great collaboration between the businesses and the community and bringing them together, and just a safe, fun event. Businesses hand out items, typically candy, but other things as well. We help supplement the businesses with donations received from the community, so that's another nice layer that the community is involved in. And this year we were very excited to have Town Hall participating the first year ever, which is so great. And you opened up its doors and welcomed all the kiddos in their costumes.
Well, again, that's just one of those areas where we want to be a part of the community, right? So we have over 100 employees that work in Town Hall. They spend a lot of their days in town center, whether it's with the businesses, supporting the local lunch or breakfast industry. But when we heard, I'm the new town manager, we have a new human resources director, a new assistant town manager. When some of us heard of the work that you guys are doing in the community, we thought, how can we be a part of that? And so, opening the doors, I don't know how many children we had come through Town Hall, but every floor, so there's 4 stories in Town Hall, was decorated. All the different departments, they really got excited about it, and we gave out candy. So someone had told me that they heard one parent say, next year, the only thing they're going to do is bring their children, because they had young children, into Town Hall, because they could go to many places in a very short period of time. They're out of the elements and be safe. Yeah, so it was great. So we appreciate you allowing us to be a part of that event.
Absolutely. So we expected to have around 4,000 kids at Halloween on Main, which is pretty incredible.
Did you have about 4,000, you thought?
That's what we estimate.
Really? Wow. So, and plus it was a great weather night too. So it wasn't rain, it wasn't coldy. So a very good event that we hope we can participate in future years. Which then brings me to the next event that's coming up. Well, we're going to hold on for Thanksgiving for a minute, but there is another event that the Chamber's putting on. It's called the Hometown Stroll. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So we started this during COVID, actually. It's the Hometown Stroll. It's scheduled for December 2nd through the 4th. And we started this as a community event and also to keep the cheer here. So a reminder for people, because when do we do our most spending during the holidays? We want to keep that money here local, so we want to provide opportunities. Many other towns and communities do strolls. It's just a great festive way to get excited about the holidays. Many of our restaurants have specials. Many of the retailers have sip-in shops and other specials going on. We'll have Santa. He comes in by boat, because being on a coastal community, certainly it's great for Santa to come in by Harbor Master boat. He will then go downtown and be at Campbell Financial and kind of greeting the kids all afternoon. There'll be cookies with Santa. We also have a mailbox dedicated to letters for Santa. And then we also have something else that's really special throughout the entire holiday season, which keeps the local money and spending here. It's called a red ticket. We're not using red tickets this year, but for every $50 you spend at a participating retailer, you receive a ticket. And we have raffles, which we draw on December 21st, I believe the date is. So that person who has spent $50 receives a ticket and may be pulled or have a chance to win one of the amazing raffles. Their gift cards, their great gifts, all donated by our local retailers.
And so when does Santa come? 'Cause I'm sure people that are listening are very interested in when
Santa comes on Saturday around noontime.
Saturday, okay, gotcha.
And a best way to keep informed is to visit our website and, of course, follow us on our social pages, Facebook, Plymouth Chamber, and Instagram.
What is your website?
PlymouthChamber.com.
PlymouthChamber.com. Good to know. So staying on the Hometown Stroll, so December 2nd is the tree lighting event.
Yes.
And so I think
the kickoff
you
for
are
it.
aware.
Of course. I'm a townie. Of course. I wouldn't miss it.
The select board decided this past, about 2 weeks ago now, to change the location of the tree lighting event itself. So it's typically been in Town Square, Prior to that, it used to be where?
Shirley Square.
Shirley Square.
When I
So
was a kid, yep.
there's a history of the tree lighting event moving around in town.
Yes.
This year, and hopefully for years to come, assuming it's going to be very successful, for the first time ever, the select board has voted to have the tree lighting ceremony on the front lawn of Town Hall. So again, just another example of Town Hall trying to be more community oriented, engaging with the businesses, supporting the businesses, and all that we can do. And you mentioned something about a mailbox, so hopefully we can find a place with a mailbox over there
that
too.
would be awesome. Definitely, we get thousands and thousands of letters that go directly to the North Pole to Santa.
Nice. So again, Hometown Stroll starts on December 2nd. Tree lighting event, and the tree lighting event should be in front of Town Hall. We'll be in front of Town Hall. So again, a lot of great things you guys have been putting on. But again, getting back to the select board, they set a standard and a set of goals and priorities back this summer, and one of them was for us collectively to be more business oriented, to promote a vibrant and economic development industry here in town. And you and Stephen and Lee Hartman, our planning director, have been actively engaged in working with the downtown and the waterfront businesses, the merchants, the restaurants, and others. Can you describe the work you've been doing with them and kind of where you see that headed?
Sure. So it's come together actually very quickly. We first met, I would say, probably in April, and it's a very energetic, vibrant group of business owners who saw that there was a lack of communication between the businesses and town government, and that there needed to be kind of a bridge. There's a lot of business owners who are busy and concentrating on their business, and it's hard for them to get out to a select board meeting per se, or a chamber meeting to share what's going on. So this group was established to identify areas that need improvement, things that the group can concentrate on to beautify, suggestions for infrastructure, and just really make our downtown and waterfront district a vibrant area. They have formed and are going towards a nonprofit status, which is awesome. Right now, they are under the Chamber of Commerce umbrella. We're acting as their fiscal agent. They do have an event coming up in December, starting the entire month, Light the Night. And it's exciting because they did an incredible job fundraising, and I'm loving to see the momentum that they're building. There's two co-chairs, one Andrew from Artisan Pig and Christine from Sprezzator. So it's nice to see that a retailer and a restaurant owner. So representing, as well as Katie from Uva, Deb from Cork and Table, and Veronica from a social media company. So those are the officers, and they're doing an incredible job. We're excited.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because you're right. I have seen some email traffic from Andrew regarding Light the Night, which makes me think maybe we should bring them in for a future episode, and we can talk about exactly what they're trying to accomplish in the downtown area and promote Light the Night, which, and I've seen some of the images on what that's going to look like. So I think that, again, that'll be a great tourist attraction for everybody.
It'll be an awesome tourist attraction. And Stephen Cole, Lee Hartman, and myself, we started, we're there to support them. We're just trying to help them get going, gain some momentum, and be kind of that share the historical knowledge that we know, and connect the towns. And
just so you know, from my perspective, so, whether it's myself or Lee Hartman or others, we get phone calls all the time. Folks asking for something, or asking for assistance, or maybe even complaining about something. And so this association that's been created allows us then to go to them. So if they're having monthly meetings, we can go to them and say, what do you guys need? How can we support you? Whether that's something we can do with this widening the sidewalks or street lighting, anything that they think would be helpful for their businesses, versus just getting those random one-off phone calls. And I would say that the bump outs that were created for the outdoor dining is kind of a really good example of businesses in the downtown area coming together for one common idea. So
exactly.
So great. So more to come on that one. There's an event that comes up. I believe it comes up in March every year, and from what I understand, started was it during the pandemic or pre-pandemic? The Plymouth One Fund program, and I know you guys have a heavy hand in organizing that. Can you describe what that's all about?
Sure. So the Plymouth One Fund was established prior to any federal aid that small businesses were able to receive.
Got it.
So we actually held an event here during the height of COVID with PAC TV and had Coachella. So we had musicians playing. Myself and Costa Havelas were the hosts, and we raised $75,000 in one night.
Wow.
For small businesses. We've continued to grow that fund. We have dispersed over $95,000 to businesses here in Plymouth, so specifically for Plymouth-based businesses. Many businesses have said, I wouldn't be open without it, because at that time there wasn't PPP, there was no aid whatsoever. They weren't able to pay their bills. They were living on a tight income themselves. So that's what started, and then we came up with this idea because of one of our One Fund recipients, Fred Astaire Dance Studios, which is also here in the Industrial Park in Plymouth, said, hey, I want to do this event to give back to the Plymouth One Fund because I wouldn't be open without it.
Really?
So we created this event, Dancing with Our Stars. Last year was the first year in March. It was a huge success. We had about 400 people. We could have sold easily 500, 600 tickets.
Really?
We had the longest waiting list.
Where was it held?
It was at Indian Pond Country Club.
Okay.
This year will be a different location. Stay tuned, which will be able to accommodate a lot more. So basically, we had 8 people, local celebrities, business owners, dancing and competing for the Mirrorball Trophy, just like the real Dancing with Our Stars. We had Tony Dovolani as one of the judges, who is also was on Dancing with the Stars. So it was a huge fundraiser. We are so looking forward to this year in March. I have asked you if you would like to join us. But
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
I don't think that's gonna
I've
happen.
gotten an answer out of you yet.
Yeah, I'm still struggling with that
But
one.
we do save a space for police and fire because, again, we love to tie into the community. It's all about making those connections, and not only do we work with businesses and economic development and workforce development initiatives, but being a part of the community is also so important. To love where you live is kind of one of our mottos. So we tie in them as well. And last year, a police officer, Mark Higgins, was the winner of the Mirrorball Trophy.
And I think you had one of our selectmen who was also one of the participants.
That's
Harry
right,
Helm.
Harry Hellman. He did an excellent job, and he will tell you it was one of the best experiences he had.
Yeah, and because I remember when I had started back in late February, early March, I would talk to Harry, and we'd just get to know each other, and he would say, I got to have to go to dancing lessons. I'm like, why is he going to dancing lessons? Then I found out afterwards that he was one of the participants.
And
so,
PAC TV's executive director, Julie Thompson, was as
Oh,
well,
really?
and
Didn't know
nailed
that.
it, yes.
Nice.
And we were lucky enough to have it filmed as well. PAC TV filmed it live, so many people, although weren't able to attend because we were sold out, they were able to view it.
And the proceeds all support the One Fund to support local businesses.
That
throughout
is
the
correct,
year.
yep, and we still receive applications and get that money right back out to deserving businesses. One thing we learned during the pandemic was we had no aid to give small businesses. There was nothing that we could do to help. Financially as a nonprofit, we couldn't do that. So this is a legacy that we hope to have forever. God forbid a business experience fire or deployment or other anything,
Sure.
really.
Right.
We want to be there to be able to help our own.
No,
so
that's
the
great.
Plymouth One Fund will continue for as long as possible.
As long as you're around. And how long you been director for?
I've been director 5 years, but with the chamber 17.
Nice.
I know that's a long time.
That's a long time.
I started when I was 25, so do the
That's
math.
right.
I'm not that old.
So we probably have about 6-7 minutes left. And one thing I did want to touch upon before we do break is that the Chamber puts on an annual legislative breakfast.
Yes.
Really important to somebody like myself in my position. I had the opportunity to attend. It seemed like it was well attended, sold out. Can you talk a little bit about the legislative breakfast and why it's so important to us as a community?
Sure. So the legislative breakfast is held every fall. we work very closely as a Chamber of Commerce. As I said, we advocate for businesses. So there are so many things that happen up on the Hill that impact our business community. It is so important for our business community to hear from the legislators about what that may be, what's in the pipeline, or what work they've been doing to help small businesses. One of those this year, a large topic this year at our legislative breakfast was the trades, the lack of qualified candidates for the trades. You know, there's been such a concentration for a four-year college, and the trades are suffering because of that. So there's so many topics. It's important for the business community to be able to voice that to our legislators. We have a great relationship with our legislative delegation, probably the best around, I would say. We are so fortunate, and you know, because you've worked elsewhere, I have not, but it is so important for businesses to hear that. It's important for us to be aware of what's going on and the great work that they do. So that is our main goal, is to educate our business community about that and connect our legislators, because they need to hear so that they can make the appropriate actions and choices.
Well, it's really important too, because when you think about it, if you're running, your small business, you don't have time to engage legislators on a regular basis. Probably the only time you really do see as legislators is during a ribbon cutting ceremony, right? For the most part. So, for the chamber to give businesses that platform to be able to have direct one-on-one conversations, I think is great. And the more I think about it as you're talking, I'm like, wow, we should probably do that more often, because I'm sure our state delegation learned a lot from them, especially the conversation about the tradesmen, which I totally agree with you. That was a great conversation. But they can take that back, to the State House. They can advocate for the needs of our local businesses as they do on any other occasion. So. No, that was a very important meeting. So
thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I want to make just one announcement, because we have a new event that's coming. Well, not a new event, but it's an old event that's happening this coming Saturday. So our annual Thanksgiving Day Parade will be this Saturday, November 19th, starting down at the waterfront area. They're going to step off at 10 a.m., right? They're going to do their parade route. And so from what I understand, again, I haven't attended a Thanksgiving Day parade, but I hear it's great. Unbelievable. I think Channel 5 now covers it.
That's correct. One thing to note is it is reversed.
Okay.
And a lot of people are not aware of that. They reversed it last year, but just keep in mind for anybody.
So for the old timers, they should realize that it's going to be reversed. For the new timers, we won't know any different.
You won't know different.
So I'm really looking forward to that, and I plan on bringing my grandchildren down to see that as well. So, yeah, that's again, looking forward to seeing that event. So, Amy, thank you for coming on this afternoon. We learned a lot. We will definitely have you back as we get closer to the Plymouth One Fund event to promote that. Awesome. But before we end today's segment, I want to thank everybody for joining us. We're going to go to some information, some video from the legislative breakfast that Amy and her team put on this past month, so you can all see for yourself how great of a success it was. So again, thank you all for attending. I'll see you next week.
What I've always appreciated about the Plymouth Area Chamber, and I've been involved now for going on 25 plus years, is that it's much more than just a business community. It really is the center of activity in the town of Plymouth. If anything's happening, whether it's our nonprofits, it's our our business communities, it's educators, it's higher education, they're all really invested in what we're doing, and it gives this organization an opportunity to really weigh in on whatever the topics are of the day that are important to our community.
It's something I always look forward to, because it's an opportunity to meet face to face with our local business community and kind of hear what's on their minds, and what are some of the concerns, some of the priorities that they have.
Get out and support our local businesses. It is so important to do so when you're thinking about buying, purchasing. Think small. Think about supporting those small businesses, because they are what make up the fabric of our community. They're our friends, our neighbors, so get out and support local.